There has been quite a bit more attention towards Bitcoin layer 2s lately, and arguably Bitcoin needs them more than Ethereum does, and Ethereum has a lot of layer 2s, so we'll see where this debate of layer 2 versus layer 1 block space leads us to. However, about that at some point later in another video. Today we're talking about Merlin Chain. I previously talked about Bitfinity, another L2. If you're interested, you can go have a watch for that video. But what is Merlin Chain and why am I talking about that today? So we open it up and just read it out loud. There is a nice short sentence that describes it well. It's a native scaling solution that integrates ZK rollup network, decentralized Oracle network, and on-chain BTC fraud-proof modules. So long story short, it's just a normal layer 2, but unlike other layer 2s that try to just bring some type of Ethereum on top of Bitcoin, Merlin tries to be a layer 2 specifically for Bitcoin native assets, and in addition to that, bring the other Ethereum stuff and anything else that you might need, like Ethereum staking, stable coins, and all of that. So they're trying to build an ecosystem that is centered around Bitcoin native stuff. However, they are open to integrating other assets from other chains as well because they're EVM compatible. If you remember ZKFair, another layer 2 that I filmed a video on previously, just a few videos ago, it is also built on Lumoz network. Lumoz is a platform that offers rollup as a service. So this is zero knowledge as a rollup service they gave us. So what it basically does, it allows you as a developer to just come, take their kind of framework for building ZK rollups and build your own rollup. And that will allow your rollup to communicate with all the other ones that also use the same framework. So this kind of makes a very nice and interoperable system in case there are many rollups available that are built on Lumoz. So that seems to be like a good thing for Lumoz because again, its ecosystem is growing and Merlin Chain seems to be growing rather rapidly. Additionally, Lumoz also offers a proof of work network that is required for building your zero knowledge proofs. So again, that's an optional thing that the developers can utilize from Lumoz and make the development even easier. But now back to Merlin Chain, and not because we're not talking about Lumoz specifically in this video. So it is built by BitMapTech, and if we just open up what they are mostly known for building BIP420 protocol that operates on the Ordinals network. However, they built a bunch of other stuff, and there is like a full table of what they built. I will just put it on the screen here if you are more familiar. But long story short, they seem to have quite a bit of experience of building on Bitcoin. So that is very good to see. And seemingly there are some investors that also saw it because Merlin just collected a funding round on February the 5th. They announced it. It is not said exactly what the funding round was. So I just went on CryptoRank to check this funding round, and yeah, there is still no amount announced that is raised. So we have the OKX Ventures, we have KuCoin Ventures, we have Waterdrip Capital, Foresight Ventures, Arcstream Capital. So a bunch of tier 2 and tier 3 funds, and also a bunch of tier 4 funds. So in total, there are 20 funds that participated, which is quite considerably like a bigger number than usual. I assume they would invest smaller numbers than other ones. I do not know what's better, honestly, but this is kind of not the very typical route. Usually they're like 8 or below 10, I would say. But we have OKX Ventures and KuCoin Ventures, which is interesting because both of these are kind of related to exchanges. The token that these funds invested into is a governance token of Merlin Network. It has a ticker MERL, and be careful, there are some scams that seem to be appearing like that kind of thing, or some tokens that are not related to Merlin Chain. So this is specifically Merlin Chain, and its token is not yet live. The TGE is planned in March. So right now it's February the 11th, and the token is not yet live. Right now you can still accumulate some portion of the token, and then the TGE event will happen, and then after that you'll be able to get your tokens after that. So token, and speaking of how you can get some of the token itself, there is an event that's called Merlin Seal, and that is a campaign that is developed for a fair launch, and as they say, it is the biggest fair launch campaign for layer 2s that they know of. So they launched their protocol on February the 7th and secured 543 million in total volume locked in 24 hours. And that volume is locked as BTC, ordinals, I mean the BIP20, BIP420, and a few other types of Bitcoin assets. In this fair launch campaign, they're aiming to distribute 20% of the governance tokens that they have. So as you can see, there are like some for users, for validators, for holders, for builders, and this campaign is also allocated 20%. The way you can earn part of that is, the biggest one is you just come in and stake your Bitcoin assets. You can also stake some of the other stuff that they announce, but mostly it's Bitcoin native assets such as Bitcoin ordinals, as I already said. And they list all the types of assets in this article, as well as they announce the new ones that they're adding on their Twitter. So you can follow up the BitMap team, or you can also follow the protocol's Twitter itself, or X. So what additional benefits, as I say, are for providing liquidity to the native DEX. They have a Merlin swap already. Profits earned from engaging with DeFi protocols, that is, I guess, specific to each protocol that is there. There are not that many that are there, but however, there are some that you can check out. There is also ETH native yield because they recently announced a partnership with StakeStone that allows you to earn ETH for staking while also staking it via Merlin. So yeah, it's kind of a complicated network. But they also announced a partnership recently with BitSmiley, so they have BitUSD now. So they have been on the roll with this partnership announcements lately, and I feel like they're going to be like announcing one every week or so in the next couple of weeks because it seems like a good marketing campaign to me. So these endpoints, there is a snapshot that is done every hour. Yeah, it's not every day. Every hour they do a snapshot to see how many endpoints you accumulate based on your staking. And then you can continue and stake more assets. So get your stake rewards and stake them back into it and earn endpoints for that. The more endpoints you get, you earn, the more points, the more kind of MERL tokens you'll receive upon mainnet launch. So not exactly mainnet launch, but token generation event. Yes, once the campaign finishes, more or less. Yes, there is a timeline, I think, somewhere in this article. Yeah, so here is a timeline. So they started staking in February. You can do it until March to accumulate endpoints. Then you can earn Merlin token, MERL, in March based on your Merlin points. That is a token generation event. Then you can also get your staked assets back in April, near the Bitcoin halving day, as they're saying. So this all makes sense. There are also additional phases that are being rolled out. Right now, I think in stage 2. So phase 1 was just like the introduction of staking and the introduction of endpoints. In phase 2, that is just around the corner, you get the opportunity to start liquid staking. So you get staking, right? And in return for your staked tokens, you get M tokens. These M versions of your tokens you can use within Merlin network itself, however, not anywhere else. And with those, you can go and earn DeFi yield somewhere in the apps that are there, also participate in the DEX and stuff like that. And then phase 3 in March, there is a claiming process that we already saw in the timeline. And in phase 4 in April, there is the withdrawal of the staked assets using the M tokens. And the M tokens are the ones that are given to you during the liquid staking. So let's say you staked BTC and in return, you get MBTC, that is a liquid staking token. And then once it's April, you can get your BTC back by returning this MBTC. Ideally, hopefully, that's how it's gonna work. Then asset security, they outline how these assets are secured. I'm sure nobody of you is very interested, to be honest, because based on my YouTube statistics, how people watch my videos, everybody skips the technical part. But ideally, if you want to read about this is of course all open source on Medium, and you can just read it all yourself if you're interested. As for the total token supply of MERL token, I unfortunately cannot tell you for 100%. However, there is this tweet from Jenny Data that has 22.5k followers. Seems legit. So in this tweet, they are saying that the total supply is 2.1 billion. However, that is the only tweet I found this number in, and if you have any more official information from the team itself, I would really appreciate it if you put it in the comments. I'm sure others would thank you as well for it. And that's all I have for you about Merlin Network. Thank you, Merlin Chain, I'm sorry. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.